What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of How to Get Faster. Today, we are going to be doing the block start. Heavily requested. I wasn't really going to do this because there's so many different elements to blocks and there are so many different ideas and concepts that go into it. But I was just like, hey, I might as well do it my way. If you guys like it, great. If you don't, continue doing it the way that you've been doing it. For everybody who's joining us, please like, subscribe, comment. We have a great community center where we update you on everything that's happening. Guys, if you don't see videos going up, usually we've made a post in the community tab talking about why that's happening. And we also get great ideas of what videos to do next. This has actually been sponsored by a poll that we've done in our community tab. So if you want to have another idea of what video we should do next on How to Get Faster, make sure you are checking out the community tab. All right, back to the blocks. Guys, we have a beautiful pair of blocks here. They're a little dusty. I've had them for a little long now. Omega was one of my sponsors and they were nice enough to give me a pair of blocks. So I've used them from time to time, anytime that I'm getting ready for a Diamond League. Even got my name on it. It's kind of cute, it's nice and all. But what good is a pair of blocks if you don't know how to use them? First thing that we're gonna talk about is actually how to find your steps. I've been using this method since I was in high school. Again, this is not perfect, but there's a good baseline of how to find it. First, of course, you're going to find out what your front leg is and what your back leg is. Starting from the baseline right here, we're actually going to put our heel on the back side and count out from the baseline. Now that's one step, that's two steps. We're going to end up doing 3 for the back. That's 3. All right. Now, great, now that our great groundskeeper is done mowing the lawn, we can begin again. All right, again, from the baseline, right here, we're gonna put the back of our heel on the line. We're gonna count out 3 steps. This is, of course, gonna be for our back foot. So that's 1 step, this is 2 steps, there's 3. Now, as you get more comfortable in finding what your block setting is, you can use your fingers, or maybe you just like using a tape measure. But I always like to use my spikes because that's the easiest to do when you're in a tight situation. So, come out here, and then what I'll do is I'll use 2 fingers because I know that 2 fingers is the distance between the 3rd step and the block pad. So I'll just put 2 fingers in there. Jack, why don't you come over here and get a look at this? It's kind of hard to see from that far. Now, come on all the way over here. Oh, there you go. So what you're going to 2 fingers, scooch it up a little right there. And that's about 2 fingers, give or take, of course. Then I'm gonna make sure that the back pad is on the 2nd notch. Now, every block pad is different. They all have different angles. As long as you make sure that the back one is higher of an angle than the front one, you're fine. Then we're gonna move on to our front step. Again, starting with the back heel, that's 1. Gonna place another one down, that's 2. And we're gonna move that one up right on the line. Again, each block pad is different. This has about a pinky width in between, but it doesn't really matter. It's not that big a deal. Gonna secure the blocks in. Nice and tight. There we go. All right, now we're gonna get into the fun things. We're gonna actually get into the blocks. Everybody has their way of getting into the blocks. Some people like to jump. Some people like to shake out their legs, whatever, squat down. I have my whole routine, but right now we're just gonna get the blocks. Backing my feet up into the blocks, making sure that some part of my shoe or spike is touching the ground. That is something that, as you get higher and higher in the sports world, they will tell you that you need to do. As you can see, we're in the blocks. Then you gotta start putting your hands down. Oh, wow, this track is hot. It's burning my fingers hot. Okay. We're gonna, woo, that's hot. It's taking me back to my old days when AAU had to sprinkle water on the track to make sure you put your fingers on it. All right, now that we got our water down, because the track is hot today, we're gonna back into it. You're gonna put your first foot in. Now, when you put your back foot in, you're gonna wanna actually load the block. And when I say that, it means I want you to get that knee down into the angle and push into the block pad. I don't want it to be passive. I want you to push into there and lock that knee down. When you bring your knee down, I want you to feel tension between your foot and the block pad, like you could push off of it at any moment. And you're gonna do a slightly similar thing to the front pad. It's just not gonna be as strong because, of course, there's nothing to really lock it into on the ground, really. But you still should feel like you could push off the pad. You're gonna put your hands down, my bad. You're gonna be leaning forward. Now, a lot of people will get caught up in leaning backwards like this because it's comfortable. It's comfortable back here. We're not here to be comfortable. We're here to be fast. So you need to be on top or leaning in front of your hands and the starting line. And as we go into the set position, these hands right here, they should be locked and loaded. There should be tension throughout this whole part of your body. It should be going from your fingertips all the way up through your arms, through your shoulders, and a little bit through your back, because that's how much tension you're pushing through. It's not budging. When you come up, you're gonna still pushing into the pads. I want it to feel like you are trying to make sure that there is as much tension between the block pad and you and your glute. So when you're coming up into your set position, from your calf through your hamstring through your glutes, that should all feel like you're pressing against something, because you are pressing against this block pad. When that gun goes off, you're going to press against the block pad, propel yourself forward. So again, you're going to come up into the set position. Now there is always a special area where the glutes come up and they need to be. There's going to be a point where it's too low. If it's too low, your back is going to look flat. So you don't want it to look like this. And you're not going to get anywhere like that. But you also don't want it to be too high. You don't want to look like this. When you're in your set position, there should be an angle between your leg right here and your glute. It should be what most coaches call a 45-degree angle going into the track. And this leg should be bent. If you have a straight leg like this when you go into your set position, that is wrong. You are not going to get any power from that leg. That leg is basically just there because it wants to look cute. If you think of your legs like a spring, when does the spring jump up? When it's just all straight, or when you press down on it and let go and it jumps into the air? That is how you have to think of the blocks in your legs and your body as you are coiling yourself into these blocks. So again, you'll come in, make sure that this is locked and loaded, because you're pushing into the pad, the back, and you're keeping it there using your knee. You're leaning forward, on top or forward over the line. You go into set position, and what I like to do is breathe in, and as soon as the gun goes off, you breathe out. And guys, that is the first part of the blocks. I know it's crazy. That's just all the first things before you take your first step. I'm only going to talk about the next 3 steps though. Now going into the next 3 steps, because they are a part of the blocks. So the gun is going to go off. You're going to be pushing against, or better yet, I'm not going to use the word push, because that insinuates that it's something that's going to take longer than it needs to. You're going to strike the back pad. And as soon as you strike the back pad, you're going to strike the front pad. And it's going to propel you forward. You're going to take your first step. And you want it to be powerful. And I want to say long, but that's my cue word. Truly, these are cue words you're going to have to find for yourself. I don't know what the length is your coach is going to want. And I don't know how quick or how far he's going to want you to go. But whatever you find to be your cue word, that is what you need to think about in your first step, and your second step, and your third step. So truly for me, since I am naturally very fast with my turnover speed, which is how fast I could put down and pick up my legs, I have to think, be patient. So I'll come out and I'll have a very powerful and long patient step. And then I'll come out and I'll do the second one. Now while I'm doing these, again, my shins are going to be very parallel to the track. A lot of people might come out of the blocks I'm gonna take a long jumping step. You'll think it needs to look like that. But by doing that, when you come out of that step, look at where you're at. Your head's up, your shoulders are up, the rest of your body is up, you know? And as you look to the left and the right, everybody else is gonna be down here. Shoulders down the track, head down the track, momentum down the track, shin angles down the track. But when you've done that big jump, your shin is up in the air, it's going up to the air instead of down the track. Your shins and your ankle up in the air. It's not helping. It's the wrong energy. You want everything going down the track. And you don't need to be up tall until you're probably at 35, 40 meters down the track. The last thing we're gonna talk about is just the mental state. Again, the start is the start. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to be your best. As long as you remember that you have to have good positions, the rest will take care of itself. You cannot have a good race with bad positions. You can only have good races with good positions, and your body will naturally start running faster. All right, everybody, that's the block start. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to hear more stuff, go check out our video on how to run the 100, and hopefully you'll be able to get some things beyond the first 3 steps on the blocks. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.